member from London West.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Acting Premier. Both the Liberals and the PCs before them failed to address maintenance and repair issues in Ontario schools, letting down students and families and resulting in a repair backlog of more than $15 billion. $3.7 billion is needed for one board alone, the Toronto District School Board. Last week, NDP leader Andrea Horwath announced a commitment to fixing the rules for education development charges as part of our plan to fund desperately needed school repairs. Speaker, in the absence of any kind of long-term plan from this Liberal government, will the Acting Premier at least allow school boards like Toronto to move forward with local solutions to the repair backlog by letting them levy education development charges for school renewal and repair?
Thank you.
To the Minister of Education.
Thank you, Speaker, and I want to thank the member opposite for this question. Mr. Speaker, there is no government in the history of this province that has invested more in schools infrastructure than this government, Mr. Speaker. When you look at the number of schools that we have built brand new or expanded significantly, Mr. Speaker, it is remarkable. We have a program in place, Mr. Speaker, that is focused on expanding schools, renewing schools, Mr. Speaker. We've committed $1.4 billion to school renewal. And, Mr. Speaker, I've met with the groups in Toronto to talk about education development charges. It's something that I've committed to looking at, Mr. Speaker, but we have to think of the broad impacts. It's not just one area of the city or the province that needs to be looked at. It has to be looked at across our system, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that we're doing the best possible thing for students in our education system to ensure fairness across the board.
Supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. Again to the Acting Premier. Families across the province should not have to worry about their children's safety in our schools. But after 2 decades of PC and Liberal neglect, students are facing unbearable classroom temperatures, broken down washrooms, leaky roofs, and lead in the water pipes. Last month, the Ontario Public School Boards Association called for a review of education development charges to allow more local flexibility for school boards across Ontario to tackle the repair backlog. Speaker, will this Liberal government join the NDP, join the Ontario Public School Boards Association, join the Toronto District School Board, join Toronto City Council, and commit to fixing the rules for education development charges?
Mr. Speaker, the answer is no, because when you look at the commitment from the NDP in their last platform, it was 60.
The member from Kitchener-Waterloo is warned. Carry on.
It was $60 million. That's just 4% of what we are committing to school repair and renewal. Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we're serious about our schools. We're serious about our investments that we're making in our students, Mr. Speaker, and that is why we have invested almost $17.5 billion in capital funding, which is supporting 820 new schools and more than 800 additions and significant retrofits, Mr. Speaker. So we will continue to look at the system. I've committed to doing that, Mr. Speaker, but I have to look at the broad impacts across our education system in terms of what these charges will do. In the meantime, we will continue to invest in the repair and in the renewal of all our schools, Mr. Speaker.